if North Korea does anything in terms of even thinking about attack of anybody that we love or we represent or our allies or us, they can be very, very nervous. I'll tell you what, and they should be very nervous, because things will happen to them like they never thought possible.
That was President Trump earlier today delivering yet another stern warning to North Korea and Kim Jong-un. Here now, Fox News contributor, former U.S. ambassador to the UN, John Bolton, is with us. This now, after really a number of presidents and the policy of appeasement, and the worst, obviously, in this case was Bill Clinton. The worst on Iran was Barack Obama. But for the president to go out there and say, sorry, this is a statement of fact. This isn't a dare. This is not, this means something. How is that a game changer, considering probably North Korea thinks they can roll America for another, $50 billion in free money and not keep their word?
Well, sure. After 25 years of failed policies, you can't count on North Korea appreciating, because of their astute political insights, that the leadership in America has changed. And that's why I think clear statements from the president are important. There are two elements here. One is if there's an attack from North Korea on Guam, that's American soil. The citizens of Guam are American citizens, and at that point, you don't even want to think about what the retaliation would be. That's clear, and I think stating that is important so that there's no misunderstanding. The second issue, though, is whether or not the president should strike preemptively. And I think on that score, there's a legitimate debate, but I think people have to ask themselves whether they're prepared to see North Korea with deliverable nuclear weapons as far as the eye can see. I am not willing to tolerate that risk.
Well, I tend to agree with you, but I also I shudder to think of the human carnage that's involved here. The best scenario would be, Kim Jong-un gets the message, he grows up, he stops the saber rattling, stops firing missiles, lets the world go in and inspect what he's doing. But we both know that's not going to happen. Short of that, is there anything you can think of militarily that we would be able to do that would effectively shut down their ability to launch those weapons?
Well, number one, I do think there's one diplomatic option. We talked about it before. That's persuading China to help us reunify the peninsula. But if that diplomatic option is out, there are a huge range of military alternatives. And that's why it's important for the American people to make the decision. Are you prepared to live with a nuclear North Korea, or are you not? Susan Rice argues in the New York Times today she's perfectly prepared to live with nuclear
weapons.
Yeah, look, and she and many people like her argued for 25 years, we can talk the North out of nuclear weapons. So their track record leaves something to be desired. Obviously, no one wants to see carnage on the Korean Peninsula. No one wants to see the Americans there in peril, or the people in South Korea or Japan. But let's be clear. Who's ultimately in peril here if North Korea has deliverable nuclear weapons, and I might say Iran at the same time? The people who are really in jeopardy are the citizens of the United States. So that to me is the bottom line.
The last question that I asked General Keane, on a scale of 1 to 10, how dangerous is this to the world and the United States right now?
I think it's very dangerous. I think this is our day's analogy to the Cuban Missile Crisis. I don't think we really have confidence. We know what Kim Jong-un and his generals will decide. That's one of the reasons why, if there's going to be military action, it ought to be sooner rather than later. This situation does not get better for the United States over time. It continuously gets worse and more dangerous.
And millions could potentially die.
Exactly. American citizens.
Frightening. All right, Ambassador, thank you. Chilling times.